Some days I can't decide if I should realize that I can't escape it.
I really, really like this carp. I do love coming to Castle Ashby because it brings back so many memories, and it has shown the power of the single hook bait today, whilst keeping on the move. Yes!
If you still believe everything will come around, if you could wait for me, if I surrender to the wind, maybe I will find a place to finally begin.
Cool carp, mate. Well, you join me on the banks of Castle Ashby today. This is a venue that I know very, very well. I grew up fishing here as a kid, and in fact I have really fond memories of catching my first double-figure carp just around the other side of the island. But the reason we're here for a session fishing dawn till dusk, and I'm going to take you through my approach to fishing days only. Now, my plan of attack is single hook baits. Why? Because it's still February, so I don't think stoving in a load of bait is going to be the one, and I am going to be trying to nick bites, lure fishing if you like. I'm going to be introducing no bait whatsoever. I'm going to be flicking between sort of yellows, pinks, oranges to see which one works, keeping my eyes nice and peeled to see where the carp are, and hopefully nick a few bites. But first things first, I did have a little wander around this morning. I saw the odd one show, but they were pretty sporadic, to be honest. They weren't really in any one particular area, so I've decided to go in a swim that has some decent winter form. This is peg 13, which I'm not too sure about. Could be unlucky, but it could also be lucky. So I'm going to jump in here, fish tight to the island, and that'll be a starting point. Well, I had a feeling this cast might go. I was literally clipping the island margins, and over here, if you get it close, you have a very good chance of getting a bite, and that's exactly what's happened really quickly. I think it's only a small one to start with, but they all count, don't they? It's coming right under the bank. Yeah, it's only a little mirror, but it is a start, and I think it was the yellow one that that's done the business. So we'll be switching both of them to yellows if that is the tactic. But yeah, it's nice to get a bend in the rod. It is February, so it's still very, very cold. The temperature dropped overnight. It was lovely and warm yesterday, really windy. And then overnight it's gone to sort of 4 degrees. So it is chilly, but yeah, we're in. Are you going to be the first one in the morning? Come on. Yes, a nice start. take that. That's the sort of bite, isn't it? There's your bite on camera, boy. Fish number 2. And once again, it's fallen to the left-hand rod and the yellow hook bait. So they seem to be liking them. We've only been here maximum of an hour. I reckon the rods have been out a maximum of 40 minutes, if that. So yeah, to get my second one so quickly is a bit of a touch, really. I'm now thinking how I can really maximise this. Do I jump the right-hand rod over the left to see whether they're coming in from the left-hand side, or are they loving the yellow hook baits? Time will tell, because I think I'm going to switch that right-hand rod to a yellow one shortly. One quick scoop, ready, yes, 2 in the net, like buses. Well, this pretty little mirror is a right angry little thing. He is the second fish of the morning, and I have got a bigger one in the net. This one took a yellow northern, just like the other. So I might have to switch both rods to yellow in a minute, but we'll play it by ear. But yeah, what a great start. The rods haven't been in that long. We've had 2 lovely mirrors. So we'll slip her back, show you the bigger one. Well, how about that one? I really, really like this carp. He's got a proper bull nose on him. And yeah, not bad for a February winter's day. And we haven't been here long either. Just put that yellow hook bait just under the island, and it didn't take long to rattle off. The rods are back out, so hopefully it's not going to be long before we catch another one. And in the meantime, we can take a look at the rig that I caught him on. Right, Mr. Bullnose, let's take you home. During the winter months, and quite often the spring, I do use a single hook bait tactic. Now, my 2 favourite hook baits for that are Northern Specials, and I like to chop and change between yellow and pink because each have their day. That's exactly how I'm going to approach today's session as well. I'm going to fish single hook baits up against that island, one on a yellow, one on a pink, and whichever one scores, I will switch both rods over to that. Now, one thing I have been experimenting with of late is with the new Halo flavouring. Now, basically pouring that over the top of the yellow Northern Specials, and it will create just that extra attraction and sort of a little attractive haze around the hook bait. And one little plus factor with it is it's got some oil content as well, which will flutter up and down the water column, giving even more attraction towards your hook bait. Now, to prep the pop-ups, it's very, very simple. Just get some of your Halo, pour it over the top of the pop-ups. Don't absolutely douse them in it, just enough to cover them all. Give them a shake and leave them to dry for around a week. Then I'll repeat the process 2 or 3 times, and that will really soak through to the core of the pop-up. Obviously, the more times you do it, the deeper penetration you will get with the Halo. So yeah, you get a really, really attractive hook bait, giving out that beautiful citrusy smell. So this is my chosen tactic for today's session. Nothing revolutionary, but simple and works a treat. The emphasis is on fishing in the silt, really. The lake is absolutely donkey's years old, so it's extremely silty, which is why I've gone for a helicopter presentation. That is on lead core, that's on some cable lead core, and as you can see, the bead is pulled up a couple of inches or so. The reason I'm doing that is so that the lead can plummet into the silt, leaving the hook bait proud to gently rest on top. That is going through to some boom material, which will basically kick away from the lead as it plummets down to the bottom. I've crimped that, added a couple of dollops of putty. This bit of putty here is to obviously weigh the pop up down. I have kept a little loop there as well, just for a bit of movement. That runs through to a size 8 wide gape barbless hook. Now I'm using a size 8, I would normally use a 6, but here it is a maximum size of size 8, so I'm using a size 8 barbless, and that is going through to a 12mm Northern Special pop-up, and that has been soaked to the max in the new Halo liquid. So yeah, this spinner presentation has worked a treat so far. Hopefully I'll have a few more to show you throughout the day. I'd love to get the biggest fish in here. Well, they're coming like buses now. This is the third fish in probably an hour. One thing it's really proving is that if you can cast accurately, you can really get ahead of the game, because for once my casting has been pretty good today, and this is 3 out of 3 casts, this one. It looks like a slightly better fish by the looks of it. Better fish, isn't it? Slightly. Get in there. Lovely. Lovely. Oh mate, he's a rhino, Brad. He's a rhino. Oh, I'm chuffed with him. Well, how about that one? A mid-20 mirror. To be honest, I didn't think I'd get one like this, so I am over the moon. Proper rhino of a carp, actually. Real cool character. Looks like he's been in the wars a little bit in the past, but yeah, that is a right touch. A mid-20 on a cold February day. Can't really ask for a lot more. Anyway, I'm going to get her back. Maybe we'll see a common at some point. This place has got a lot of commons, and it's been all mirrors this morning. So let's see if we can catch a common next. So in this swim, it's notorious for fishing close to the island, and the closer you get to the island, the quicker you get bites. I've known this for a number of years, and it's often the same on other venues too. Lakes like Walthamstow that I used to fish in the past, it was always the same on there. Whoever could get closest would get the quickest bites. Now, the thing about islands is a lot of them are pretty undercut, so the carp do have a lot of sanctuary actually underneath the islands, and when they've got that sanctuary, it's safety, so they'll often go underneath there to keep away from anglers. So the tighter you can get, often the better, and there are a few things that I do that allow me to do that. So first things first, I like to cast towards the island within 10 to 15 yards. I will then splay off some line, pop it in the clip and take a chuck, and then I'll inch by inch, foot by foot, get as close as possible to the island, and then I am clipped up. I will then mark that with some pole elastic so I can keep getting there time and time again. So let's have a quick go. Okay, so we're probably 5, 6 yards off of the island, so I'm going to take off 5 to 6 yards of line, roughly, stick that in the clip, reel it in and have another go. And then if I am a foot off where I want it to be, I can add a foot on there, clip it up again, and I'll be exactly on the mark. Now, One of the key things is obviously casting in the same position. So it's pretty muddy here. So I've got a couple of footprints in the mud where I know I'm going to cast time and time again. I've just lost my lead in the drink, but I'm going to carry it on anyway. And the other important thing is to cast in the same direction. So pick a spot on the far bank that you'll consistently cast at and try and keep your trajectory of the cast the same as well. I'm having to arrow them in a little bit here because there are some overhangs, but if you keep it all consistent, you'll be bang on. There we go, absolutely spot on. All I need to do now is clip a rig on and away we go. Well, it's time for a move. As always with Castle Ashby, if you're not getting bites within an hour or two, the fish ain't there. And after catching 3 this morning and no bites for the last 2 hours, it's time to go and find them. So I'm going to up sticks, I'm going to hook these, pop them onto the barrow and go for a walk. Well, we've moved just behind the island, as you can see, and although old Brett's making a right old racket with his chainsaw, there seems to be a few fish round here. We had a lot of rain last night, and there's a bit of an inlet down by the bridge there, and there's actually a bit of flow coming into the lake, and it's causing a lot of colour in the water, and there are literally bubblers everywhere. And as we were walking sort of to the swim, there's a big bow wave just to my left. So there are carp present, and with the colour, the extra colour, I thought I'd tie up a couple of bags with some Pro Stim just for a little bit of extra smell in the water, just to hopefully hone them in on the hook bait. So yeah, I'm going to lightly flick the leads out. I've got a little light lead, sort of 2 ounces. Apologies for all this noise, there's an aeroplane now. Yeah, I'm going to flick some little light leads over the top, see if we can nick a quick bite. That's good. Oh yeah, that's a bite. Well, that didn't take too long. The rods have been out half an hour. I've had a couple of liners on both rods, and this one has just ripped into life. It's in very shallow water, so it's going a bit crazy. But hopefully it's going to be well worth the move. It's really banging his head. Oh, looks like a nice dark one. Come on, mate. One. Yes! Nice. Slightly different one. It's a slightly different one. Well, that is an absolute cracker, and the day is ticking on, so it may well be the last fish of the session, but 4 carp on a cold February day, who can grumble with that? I do love coming to Castle Ashby because it brings back so many memories, and it has shown the power of the single hook bait today, whilst keeping on the move. Right, I'm going to slip this one back. If you don't hear from me, that's the last fish of the session, and I'll be going home for dinner.